Welcome to episode 8. In this video we'll be applying the SEO tools we reviewed in the last episode in order to improve the listing's content and increase its grade. Before we actually start editing, I want to emphasize that SEO is a complex concept. The changes we make will result in the listing having an edge over the competition, but they won't guarantee views, likes, or sales. You still have to have great content, inviting photos, and so on. It's also important to note that attempting to score 100% is usually not a worthwhile time investment. Instead, focus on getting the grade in the excellent category, and then tinker only if the listing isn't seeing the sort of views, likes, and sale activity that you might realistically expect. With that out of the way, let's begin with the title. Now right away there are some easy fixes here that will allow us to reduce the length of the title and the number of words that are used, which contribute to Etsy's preference for short titles. However, before we make these changes, I want to take a moment to discuss the highlighted words. No matter the color, they all indicate duplicated content of some kind, which is not preferable, but isn't an absolute no-no. If a sentence wouldn't make sense without a duplicate word, then you should use it. However, if you can replace it with something else, then you should. Doing so increases the range of your content since you are using a wider variety of words. This entire sentence isn't necessary. While it has a few words like large, small, and print, those can be repositioned and extraneous words removed. So let's do that. Next, we can remove human since we already have skull in the title. We can also reorganize the section on the face. Next, we can remove the duplicate and replace it with a with. Notice how our score has jumped to 74%. While the title is a little longer than what Crest considers the best, given the content, it looks about right. We still have some duplicates which are derived from within the tags. To fix those, let's switch to the tags and make some alterations there. We can change melted to melting, which is a good variant someone might search for. Next, we can replace skull with human head. We can remove the duplicate pop art instance, and we'll remove the duplicate printables instance. Finally, we can add street artwork. Switching to description, our original tags and titles are present, which they shouldn't be, so let's remove them. Now realistically, we'd need to write a proper description, but I've elected to use the current sentence to highlight Crest's sentiment analysis tool. Notice how it has scanned the content of the description and determined the sentiment is negative. This can be useful as buyers tend to purchase listings that have a positive message. However, given that we're selling a fiery skull, a negative sentiment might be more appropriate. There's more we can do based on Crest's recommendations, but our listing still has reasonable SEO content that we can use. That being said, if we have the time, we should always do our best to eliminate as many identifiable issues as possible. One final thing I want to highlight is that if you're working on a new or unpublished listing, you can still use all of these tools by going to Listings and selecting the Draft Listing action from the Options menu. This provides access to a sketchpad where you can try out any ideas you're working on. In the next video, we'll review the keyword tool that you can use to get inspiration and to identify suitable words to include in your titles and tags.